Mikey Garcia is implying that a fight with Manny Pacquiao, which seems to be what he's after once the coronavirus situation is lifted for him,
right?
He's implying that this is going to be an easier fight for him at welterweight because he's very insistent upon staying at 147 because Pacquiao's a smaller guy. I want to know, what do you think about that?
I think everybody makes the same mistake. And I love the Garcias, and I see Robert all the time, and we talk about different things. And first of all, I don't think they're going to fight. Mm-hmm. So, and I kind of have that on good authority. Unless something dramatically changes, unless this pandemic has inspired things to change, they're not fighting. Mm-hmm. And that's something I got directly from Pacquiao's camp, not Mikey Garcia.
Right.
So that's number one. Number two, everybody keeps saying this about Manny Pacquiao, and I don't know if they've all been living under a rock or they forget that he is Superman.
Roy Jones Jr. Y'all must have forgot.
Hey, listen. Well, Adrian Broner must have forgot. Keith Thurman
must have forgot.
You know, a guy like Matisse who wasn't trash talking, but figured he was going to stop Pacquiao. Well, he got stopped. He must have forgot. Okay. So I just don't know, because I don't know. Look, Mikey Garcia is not a welterweight. He must have forgot.
He must have forgot that he's not a welterweight.
And listen, Mikey's a phenomenal fighter, no doubt about it. He fought. He put up a valiant effort against a bigger, stronger, really immovable, Errol Spence Jr. Mm-hmm. But I think Mikey fought too cautious. I think if Mikey would have been a little bit more willing to risk it all, he would have had more success in that fight. He basically allowed Spence to win that fight from distance behind the jab. Mm-hmm. Underestimate Manny Pacquiao, and that little guy will find ways to carve you up. Before you know it, you're on your butt. Mm-hmm. And he's just who he is. I mean, he is an anomaly of the sport. Multiple titles in 8 different weight classes. The only fighter that will ever do that in the history of boxing. So for Mikey Garcia to say it's an easier fight than Spence, it's a completely different fight. I think he actually runs the risk of getting hit more because Pacquiao, throws those combinations and the punches and bunches, and he's a lot faster and quicker, completely different style. He's a southpaw. He's not going to stand in front of him. He punches while coming forward. The Spence fight was a very measured, slow, methodical fight. So I understand Mikey Garcia sees it as a big payday. Pacquiao is heading toward the sunset of his career. But like I said, A, I don't see it happening. B, I would still pick Pacquiao in that fight.
Yeah, I would say so as well. Well, put it like this. I wouldn't say, or I wouldn't be shocked, right, if Mikey Garcia beat Manny Pacquiao. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be shocked. He's a younger guy. It makes sense. There's a thought process that will back that up. But I do think, and he wasn't like disrespecting Manny, because if anybody knows or has ever spoken to Mikey, they know that's not his style. He doesn't like disrespect people, doesn't call people out.
He was just giving his opinion on the matchup. Compared to Spence.
And he was actually talking far more candidly than you will hear most fighters talk, which is a refreshing thing. But I do think that I do agree with you. There may be a little bit of underestimation there, thinking that because he's smaller, that will be, the size thing is going to be the only deal. But he did talk about that he remembered sparring with him, and it was years ago. But I think everybody knows that sparring with somebody is completely different than going there.
I'm going to be real right now for 30 seconds. I managed George Kambosos Jr., who's top-rated lightweight. Okay, he was Manny's chief sparring partner for 3 camps in a row.
Right,
over 300 sparring rounds with Manny. When Manny would decide to put the foot on the pedal and go at 100%, just to remind George who he was, you can see the difference in work rate. You can see Manny come out and it's, and listen, George is phenomenal. I mean, I think George is going to be a world champion.
Probably going to be a world champion, but puts it into perspective.
But it's just perspective. I mean, Manny's very special. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, maybe one of the top 3 fighters of all time.
Absolutely. It's interesting, and I would love to get an opportunity to see if what Mikey says turns out, or if maybe we finally have seen something with Manny where there is a fall off. But I do hear what you're saying, that it's probably not going to happen unless something has changed.